Hello and welcome. You're listening to the Evolvepreneur Secrets Show for entrepreneurs, and I'm your host, Brian Silverthorne. And my mission is always to help entrepreneurs make a difference with their businesses and navigate the sometimes messy worlds of startup, growth, or relaunch. And today we're going to dig deep with our guest and get you the best concepts and strategies to fast track your business. And today's special guest is Steve Feld. And Biz Coach Steve is a certified business coach, author, podcast host, professional speaker, coffee enthusiast, which piques my interest, and award-winning business management executive. Welcome to the show, Steve.
Great. Well, thank you for having me, Brian.
Yeah, happy to have you here. So why don't you start by elaborating a little bit on all those areas of expertise and interest, and then tell us what your current focus is.
Great. Well, I've owned and operated 7 different businesses in various industries and turned around 3 as well because I didn't have enough punishment, I guess, as being an entrepreneur. And currently I have my current company. I actually have 2. One is on my business coaching side, and the other one I co-own a publishing house with someone else. So we do expert books there. But on the business side, I also have coaches underneath me. And I focus primarily with small business owners, entrepreneurs, coaches, helping them grow their businesses, and then also to build a long-term sustainable business. So one day we can all profit from all this hard work that we're putting into building a business. Let's have an exit strategy and build a business that we can actually sell.
Makes perfect sense. Yeah, back when in my business consulting coaching days, it was always, from my point of view, you need to build an asset that has value that you can walk away from for an extended period of time, and you come back and it's better than when you left it, and it makes it much more valuable when you sell it. So do you have any basic tenets that you talk to your clients about to help them get to that position?
Absolutely. Well, the first thing they always want to know is, I want more revenue. When small business owners and entrepreneurs, you're talking about the wrong line item on your P&L, your profit and loss statement. You should be saying, I want more profit. Revenue is great to show. Profit is what you take home to mama. So you got to look on the profit side. But we do help them build the revenue because that is their focus. So let's look at your marketing. Is your message resonating with your true target market? Odds are it's not. That's why your pipeline, you're struggling to fill the pipeline, your leads. And do you have a good conversion strategy? That's what leads into revenue. Those 2 things are ahead of revenue. So we'll take care of the revenue part. Once that starts becoming on the machine that it needs to be, now let's start looking at the internal systems, your accounting, your costs, your HR, your operations. Let's start documenting these things. And now we're going to increase your profit. And one other thing I see with small business owners and entrepreneurs, it's like they want to grow, but they don't want to let go of the reins. Got to let go of the baby every now and then, right? So you got to hire staff. And a lot of times it's the first time someone ever hired staff. They could have worked for a company and said, hey, I need an employee in my division. They go to HR. HR does all the work. Next thing you know, an employee shows up. Now you got to do it because you're the owner. So we actually have to work with them on how to source, interview, onboard, everything. And we also get into the leadership qualities as well, because a lot of these entrepreneurs know how to make a better widget, but they've just never been the leader that they'd had to be. And we see it, people jump in the cubicle all the time thinking, I'll make a better mousetrap, but they didn't know everything that was involved in that mousetrap, the marketing, the accounting, finances, all that kind of stuff. So we want to walk them through, and we try to make it simple, not put it in CPA language because, they won't get that. So we really want to put it in language that they understand, that they get. And our whole job is, I'm tired of seeing small business owners fail. The failure rate is just ridiculous. And it hasn't changed since 1932, since they've been tracking it. So that's what I'm passionate about, seeing these people survive and thrive.
Yeah, I agree with you. The small business owner is really kind of the backbone of the economy. But people get off with a lot of good intentions and a great desire to achieve, but they don't know the mechanics of it. And so what you're doing is a big help there. And hiring has got to be a real important one.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially when you start to expand.
Yeah. I mean, I've been teaching a class for SCORE for 6 years, and I've done this 2-3 times a month, called ABCs of Starting a Business. So we tell them the good, the bad, the ugly. And a lot of people are jumping into entrepreneurship, wanting to be their own boss, but they think, hey, I'm going to make more money and work less. When it's like, here's the reality. You're going to work more, make a lot less at the beginning. But if you start building a business through your sales, that'll switch. So stop worrying about your dang business card, your logo, and all this other junk. You need sales. You need marketing and sales coming out of the gate.
Yeah. You got to have money coming in the front door. Then the efficiencies of your business determines how much goes out the back door and how much you put in your pocket. So
there you go.
Yeah. So it's fun talking to people that say, well, yeah, I did $1.5 million last year. Well, congratulations. How much did you get to keep?
There you go.
Yeah. So
see, it's a big revenue is for good, boiler talk, show talk, whatever. Profit is what really matters. That's what you put in the bank.
Right. So do you have, I know you gave us kind of a general walkthrough there, but do you have very specific profit strategies? Let's assume that the people, they've got a good funnel and people are coming in and they're making sales. But once that happens, do you have good profit strategies for businesses?
Oh, absolutely. I also have a business academy. It's all online, and we actually can go through it with them. And one of the first things I've seen, and I just did this with someone last week, is I said, let's look at costs. And they're like, well, that's easy. And I'm like, is it? We get so married as business owners, we get so married to our stuff. We're going in with pure blinders on, whereas being a coach, I have to open up those blinders a little bit. When we looked at his costs, we pulled his credit card statements, his personal credit card statements, the business, all their ins and outs for the last 3 months. And we went through it line by line, and we actually found a whole bunch of things he's been paying for that he doesn't use. It could have been, one was actually, this is going to sound crazy, a gym membership where the membership expired 2 years ago. Still paying on it.
Wow.
But you know what? We get in this routine. We're human. But this is where we come in. We went through the whole cost cutting. It wasn't really hard to eliminate costs you don't need. And we found him 90 grand right there a year for his personal and business together. And it was like, okay, that was just one little step. The 90 grand, how's that going to transform your life, your business? And it was a huge shift. Not only that, it's like we started also looking into his employees. He had 2 employees, and all he did was complain about them. So it's like, let's look at the employees. He just hired the warm body to fill the position instead of hiring the right person for the position. So once we got into that and we're going through it, he's now hiring right, not just hiring to get a warm body. So yeah, we have to look at many different aspects singularly at one time, but you pull one lever, of course, it creates a problem somewhere else.
Sure.
So by cutting the cost, now he has more revenue or more profits. Guess what else that does? Frees up things that he can do, like hire a different kind of person or hire an additional person. So now we have an HR problem. Now we have to go find the person and bring them on board and interview them. And that's what I love about this. It's like, so we're doing it simple, step by step, not all at once, because as they say, you can't eat the elephant in one bite. So yeah, and every business has a little different need and different order, but we try to cover them all.
Yeah, it's amazing. You start out as a solopreneur, for lack of a better term, and you're wearing every hat. And then when you start passing hats around, you got to be very careful who you pass them to and how well defined those hats are. So it's an interesting thing. One fella I was working with a while back, he had the philosophy, it wasn't his, but one he adopted that I thought was a good one. He said, it's always be hiring.
Yes.
always look, so do you espouse that as well? Always be looking for the right people
Always.
that would be a good fit?
Yeah, I worked with an insurance agency owner years and years ago, and he had one staff person, and we created two marketing positions, and he had about 7 or 8 great candidates. So I said, it's worth the money hiring them all on for 1 month. It really is. Just paying them an hourly rate, and we're going to put them through the test. They're going to know about it, and let's see the 2 that rise to the top. Well, 4 rose to the top, and I go, you have a great problem. Well,
Yeah.
1 more month. Let's see which 2 rise now. After 60 days, 2 of them were still on top. The other 2 went away. I go, those are your rock stars. Now do it again.
Well, that's an interesting concept. I've not heard of that particular strategy before, but that it makes sense. It makes sense because it costs an awful lot of money and time and effort to hire the wrong person.
Yeah, and you're telling them everything up front, training them the identical, and just kind of a little competition. He really only had 1 position open, but he ended up hiring 2. But he also had a progression. And when I hire you, you're going to be here. And in 6 months, you're going to be here. A year, you're going to be here. 2 years, you're going to be here. In 5 years, you're not going to work for me.
Yeah.
And they were all like, why? And I'm going to train you and develop you enough. You're going to have your own agency.
Ah, very good.
And you know what? A lot of people really like that. And some people like, I just want this position. He goes, great. I can do that too. Now I think he has 14 people working for him now.
Oh, wow.
Licensed agents. And he still
Excellent.
has 5 or 6 marketers.
Interesting. Very good. So do you while you're helping other people do all of this stuff and project into the future, do you have projections for your own business that you try to achieve, say every 12 months or so?
Oh, yeah. I mean, how can I tell people to have a coach if I don't have one? So I actually have 2 coaches. They keep me on track and keep me focused on my business because, well, obviously after owning 7 businesses, it's like my mind goes a million different places. So having the coach there keeps my mind off the shiny object syndromes, the squirrels, keeps me focused as well. And I'm also in an accountability group, which I call it a hardcore accountability group because there's 5 of us now. We only meet for 30 minutes once a week. We state our own goals. And it's usually done within 30 seconds. We also state, did I achieve my goals or not? And if you didn't, you can't have an excuse. You have to have a plan to achieve them again. Or maybe you found a problem and said, I had to ditch that because whatever. And everyone kind of holds each other accountable. And that really helps move the business forward. It's none of the busy work. Well, I worked on this, course. Great. If you got the course done, what will you do with it?
Right.
Let's do that part, the strategic, because you can work on the course at night. We're entrepreneurs. You have weekends. Guess what? That's part of being an entrepreneur. But how is this course going to change your business? Everything has to be focused on your business lines.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Getting in groups like that, I tell people all the time, get in a mastermind, get in an accountability group, get a coach, an advisor, a mentor, get help.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lonely business world anyway. So you've got to have people that are on your side and looking out for your best interest and hold, like you said, holding you accountable. So it sounds like it might be a bit of a challenge to find the right people for an accountability group. Is that correct? You got to kind of be careful looking through those as well.
Yeah. I mean, I've ran this accountability group for, I think, 2 years now, a little over 2 years. At the beginning, we had 6 people, highly motivated. Then one person started missing meetings, so we kicked them out. Next, another person started giving excuses. Well, I was sick. I wasn't feeling good. This is not excuse time. So the group decided, hey, you're gone because we can't deal with excuses. So it has gone through some changes, and other people invite people in. And some people are like, oh my God, you're really holding me accountable to my own goals. I've never had that happen before. I don't know what to do. It's too much.
Yeah.
But the people in the group, their businesses are all moving like really fast and forward, and it's not pressure.
Right. No, I understand that. You're there as a unifying group to help one another, and it's just a straightforward way to help by holding people accountable to their
Yeah.
commitments. That's great. So you've had 7 businesses. I see that you published 7 books as well. Do I
Yeah,
have that right?
I'm finishing editing my 8th book right now. So
And you self-publish through your own publishing company then?
yes. And for the publishing side, I always tell people it's like, yeah, I do print on demand, so I don't have to buy a whole bunch, even though I got enough on my bookshelves.
Yeah.
Remember when we all met live in person, I should say. So yeah, there's ways to do it. And the books that we do for the publishing company that I'm involved in, we do expert books, so they're 50 to 80 pages, kind of showcases you. Our clients spend maybe 2 hours a month on it, and we can
Mhm.
usually knock them out in a month. So
Okay.
we just do a questionnaire. I interview them. We record, transcribe, clean up. I have someone else that does all that because that's their specialty, not mine. Do the cover, layout. They get approved, make any changes, the final copy, and hard copies.
Got it. So are these for your own books, let's say, was your intent when you wrote them to write them like as a legacy piece to leave some good information for now and for the future, or as a lead generation tool?
My first book was lead gen, pure lead gen. And that one has 8 simple strategies that any business owner can put in their business without spending more on marketing or advertising. So I wrote that just for the lead gen. And then the others all were prompted by my clients and prospects talking about their business. So they would say, I hate doing financials. I can't do accounting. I hate accounting. And it's like, you're like 98% of all business owners. So why are you doing this to yourself? Well, I don't understand it. That's the reason why. Great. So I wrote a book on how to read your financials, but only focus on 3 numbers to move the dial in your business. And so it's not an accounting language, not you don't need an MBA. It's written in their language and make it simple. So I wrote a book just on how to read your financial statements. The latest one is, or I have one, it's like 15 keys to success that business owners start doing, and then they get to a certain point, they forget about it. So the fundamentals, it's just like, I should say fundamentals, like I always take basketball, for example. If you don't work on dribbling, passing, and shooting, those are the fundamentals. Then when you get in the game time, that's going to kill you. Same thing in business. Business owners get to a certain point and we hear it all the time. I'm stuck. I can't grow anymore. Why? You lost the fundamentals. So we
Yeah.
wrote a book about 15 of the fundamentals that we all do forget. That's why I have a coach. Keeps me in check with the fundamentals.
Yep. And interesting, the basketball analogy, all pro sports, what do they do at the beginning of the season? They go back and practice the basics.
Fundamentals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the
I always
fun.
think like Michael Jordan, greatest basketball player ever, that in my opinion. He had 22 coaches. So he's the greatest, and he has 22 coaches because he knows he always want to get better, and they see things in him that he cannot see. So he had a dribbling coach. The guy can dribble,
Yeah.
but someone's pushing him and making him dribble better.
Wow.
Same
I
with shooting.
had no idea he had 22 coaches, but
Yeah. Well, includes fitness coach, fitness coach, nutrition coach, golf coach.
yeah.
He had head coach, offensive coach, defensive coach. I mean, it's amazing how many coaches he really had.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting to know. I'm going to have to try and think of 22 different coaches, but that's an exercise for another time. So, did any of your books make the bestseller list, or was that important to you?
It was not important to me. What was important to me is helping business owners grow their business. That was more important. And my 7th book, that's going to be, I think, completed hopefully by the end of the month or in print. And that's how to start a high-powered networking group to grow your business. Because I've done so much consulting and coaching with chambers, with many different organizations, local, regional, national, international, on how to build their networking groups, lead, referral, and social. It's like, why not put us all in a book and teach business owners, like, you can start a nice networking group and really grow your business. And that's selling without selling.
Right. Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
can monetize it.
Yeah. If you take advantage of your relationships in a networking group and otherwise, that's the best way to expand your business. That's great.
Absolutely.
So what's the one final question here for me? What's the best piece of advice you've ever given one of your clients?
It's one I heard years ago and I rejected it like there was no tomorrow. And then when the day I accepted it, my life changed. And that was get help. I rejected that. I thought I knew my business better than anyone else. No one needs to help tell me what to do, blah, blah, blah. And my business was dying and it was hurting. I finally woke up and I said, I'll give it a shot. I went all in, found the right coach for me. In 45 days, my life was completely changed. Business was back on track. My personal life was back on track. I've had a coach ever since.
Excellent. That's excellent advice, especially coming from a coach.
I mean, we all get proud about our business. We're not here to tell you how to run your business. We got to think. We deal with lots of different businesses and a lot of different industries. We see a lot of things. We're reading up on all this and educating ourselves. We're giving you all of our resources as well. But we're also doing everything. I know I am. I always care about my clients. I'm going to do whatever I can to help them grow their business and get them to that financial success that them and their family want to be in.
Good, good. So how do people get a hold of you if they want Biz Coach Steve to give them a hand?
Yeah, well, we always have our website, Biz Coach Steve. It's BIZ, coachsteve.com. And I don't know if I can give away something because for free. I don't want anyone paying for this. I'd love to give your audience our first book, which is 45-minute business breakthroughs. And really easy, just download it. It's bizcoachsteve.com/100K.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I appreciate that. And I thank you for taking the time to be a guest. This was great information from my point of view, because I've spent a little bit of time in the coaching profession myself. So it was all great information and good advice. And
Thank you for having me, Brian.
You bet. So that's a wrap on another awesome guest episode here of Evolvepreneur Secrets Show for entrepreneurs with our guest, Coach Steve Feld today. And just before you go, if you like this episode, please give it a 5-star review. We'd be very grateful. And if you'd be so kind, maybe refer it to a couple of your friends. And if you want to make sure you don't miss any episodes in the future, you can go to evolvepreneursecrets.show and sign up. And until next time, if you're an entrepreneur, make the start of your next great idea today.